Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Take Two Podcast, episode 274. I'm your host, Brian, here at Take Two Podcast for all of your latest Hollywood news, TV, and movie reviews, and, of course, my Take Two. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining in on all the fun here at Take Two Podcast. We're glad to have you guys here. Show today, we have two reviews for you folks. Sing 2. We'll be chatting about in a little bit. And The Tender Bar, Sing 2 out in theaters. Tender Bar available on Amazon Prime. Both of those we'll be chatting about a little bit later. We have a Golden Globes winners section. This is going to be the most tepid Golden Globes review of all time, as it should be, but we'll chat about that a little bit after the news. We have our box office updates, of course. A pretty good poll result from over the weekend. Lots of casting, lots of news, and multiple RIPs in the RIP section, which is pretty sad. There's a couple of sad ones in there, as I'm sure you guys are aware. If not, thank you for coming to Take Two Podcast for all of your news and anything else that we provide. Listen, at Take Two Podcast for Twitter, Take2Podcast at gmail.com. You can get a hold of us there. 667-365-8253. That's the hotline. Those are the fastest ways that you can get a hold of the show. Anytime you guys want to chat TV, movies, anything of that like, always available. You can also follow the show on Instagram and Facebook. Take Two Podcast, not too hard to find. Also, the show is on Letterboxd and YouTube if you want to see my smiling face. Let's see, today we're rocking my Bluey shirt. I'm rocking my Bluey shirt on purpose because the energy that the dad gives on Bluey, if any of you guys do not watch the show Bluey, it is for kids, but adults alike can enjoy it. The energy, the dad energy that Bandit, the dad, gives is likened to one of the greatest TV dads of all time. And I'm wearing it in honor. I don't have a Full House shirt, but in honor of Mr. Saget, whom we will speak about a little bit later in the news and the RIP section. That is why I'm rocking the Bluey today. Okay, A, Bluey is a phenomenal show. B, this character, this dad is fantastic. His dad energy is top level. But it has to bring you back to one of the OG TV dads for our generation. And so that is the reference for the Bluey. Okay. Thank you guys for subscribing to the YouTube if you are watching. And you podcast listeners, I'm wearing a shirt that has the dad from Bluey on it. There you go. You don't even have to look it up. Episode 274, guys, we're just going to rock and roll right into it. Only a couple of reviews, but a ton of news in there, and I will try and keep it quick, try and keep it easy. Hit us up on all the socials as you so desire, and I would love to hear from you guys. The only other thing, before we get started, a rating and review. A nice 5-star rating and review coming across would be great. It's 2022. What should you do? A rating and review. My God, I might have to delete that. That was just... It was like so bad it's great or so great it's bad. You guys pick. Let me know in your review on Take Two Podcast your decision on that. 2022 is going to be fun. I have a lot of fun things planned for 2022 already. I mean, already into February. I've already been talking to listeners about some fun shows we're going to do in February and beyond. So I'm excited to jump into this new year with all of you. Let's start things off like we always do with the box office. Okay. When was the last time that the number one movie of the weekend made more money than the numbers 2 through 25 combined? I'm not going to go back and do that research. Someone out there can go back and do that research and let me know. But this weekend, Spider-Man No Way Home makes $33 million. It puts it over $668 million domestically. You know, we're just around the corner from that $700 million. I'm thinking we need 2 more weeks just domestically to make that cash, but it will. And numbers 2 through 25 did not combine to make more than $33 million. That's a bummer. I mean, it's second weekend of January. What did you guys expect? We don't make a lot of money now. Golden Globes are out. This is award season-y time. These are the type of movies that we see now. A lot of people go back this time of year to now rewatch movies that are going to get nominated. We're going to find out the Oscar nominations come out first week of February. So this is that time of year, right? Not a lot of movie money is made in the theaters. That sentence pieced itself together by accident. But that means the $33 million for Spider-Man No Way Home, pretty good chunk of change. 4,000 theaters. This thing is still churning out cash. I think at this point, we're only wondering what is the end game amount of cash that it's going to make, pun intended. Number 2, Sing 2, in its third week of release, makes 11.9, just under $12 million. It does put it over $100 million. Great job, Sing 2. $109 million that is made domestically. That's awesome. I will tell you guys right now, I'm going to review it later. I did not contribute to that. And this is where Sing 2 is going to start to lose a little bit of money, a little bit of steam. I mean, fourth week of release next week, obviously, is going to start losing a little bit of steam. But I'll tell you why a little bit later and how I watched it. No, I did not pirate it. We're anti-pirating here on the Take Two podcast. Third is the 355. I said this last week. There's no chance that this thing was going to be No Way Home. I said it was going to battle Sing for that second place. I couldn't have been more right, except it wasn't much of a battle. Less than $5 million. Opening weekend, 3,100 theaters. You know, I didn't see a lot of pub for this. I only saw it because of the realms and the worlds that we live in as cinephiles, and we're always looking at this kind of stuff. But just your casual moviegoer, your casual person per se, I didn't see a lot out there. My wife didn't know about it, and this is a female-led thing. Getting a lot of love critically a little bit, you know, everyone loves Jessica Chastain and what she has to do, but only $5 million, not even. Fourth place, The Kingsman, $3.2 million. It's 25 overall. It's just not getting the love that it should be. Fifth place, American Underdog, $2 million. Matrix Resurrections comes in at 6, 1.8. West Side Story, 1.4. Ghostbusters Afterlife, 1.1. Licorice Pizza, $1 million. And in 10th place, House of Gucci, $600,000. This is no man's land time for the box office. You guys know that. We're still gonna do the box office each and every week just to keep these numbers rolling. But I think you guys are already well aware that January, a little bit of February, not a lot of money's made in the theaters. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit later in the Marvel section about a movie that decided to leave January altogether to maybe make some more money down the road in the springtime. Stay tuned to the Marvel Minute to hear which movie that is. Okay, the other thing about Spidey is it passes The Dark Knight. As far as comic book movie money has made overall, it's going to pass a whole bunch more as we chug along. Again, the only thing interesting is how much is it going to wind up with. Challengers for next weekend, we'll talk about this in going forward. Only one, and I'll be intrigued to see if it beats it. I will be intrigued to see if it beats it. Okay, there we go. We're done with the box office now. It is time to move on to the poll for our poll results. We got a ton of snow recently. I mean, it is the winter. It's time to get some snow. So especially where I live in the D.C., Baltimore area, we got a bunch of snow last week. Twice they got us, and we might be getting a little bit more this weekend, a little bit of freezing rain. Hey, such is January in our area. So I had snow on the brain, and I was thinking, what is everyone's favorite movie with snow in it? Again, Twitter only uses the 4 options. This is where the comment below section should have dominated the day. Either way, decent return on our voting on this one. A lot of folks must have had snow on their brain as well. But here's the 4 options that I threw out for Twitter. The Shining, Day After Tomorrow, The Revenant, and then Frozen. I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with that one. And then, of course, comment below as you folks so desire. The winner of the Twitter poll was The Shining. I thought that was going to be the winner. Excuse me, but it dominated 53% of the voting there. Now, second place, surprisingly, Day After Tomorrow, 18%. I almost didn't put Day After Tomorrow in there, but I was like, we'll have a little bit of fun. I was like, we'll have fun with Frozen. That'll be kind of a silly one to put in there. But then should we do like a cheesy one that's like low-key loved by people in Day After Tomorrow, or should we do like a legitimate film? I did that, and it gave me second place, 18%. Revenant, 16%. I will say this about Revenant. First time I saw it, I was like, yes, that was a phenomenal film. I really enjoyed that. I hated watching it because it just made me feel cold the whole time. Leo gives a fantastic performance. Went back, saw it a second time in the theater, and I remember thinking, meh, this movie's fine. It's good. The rewatchability is kind of meh. Leo's still great. I still felt cold, but I don't think I ever need to see this film again. So I think maybe that's why I came in third place. And then lastly, Frozen, 13%. Let's go to the comment section on Twitter. Mark Ramsey and Film Rage Podcast both said Shining all the way, although Film Rage did do a gif of Shining with Olaf running behind him. So was that a subtle hint that maybe Film Rage, you guys actually wanted to vote for Frozen? Did you? Abby Darling voted for Snowpiercer. Good call. Threw that in a little picture collage as kind of a hint to folks there. And another one in the picture collage was The Hateful Eight. And your next favorite movie pod voted for The Hateful Eight. Over on Instagram, Cats, you silly bugger, you said blow. Wait, not that type of snow. Cats, how much blow have you done back in the day? Be honest. Tell me. Come on. But then he gave an answer that I was hoping that someone would give. He said Empire Strikes Back. Shy from the Friday Night Movie Pod went with Ski Patrol, not to be confused with Ski School. I fully agree with you there, Shy. Ski Patrol, the far superior film than Ski School. Okay, that's going to wrap up our poll results. Everybody, the poll drops every single Thursday, every single week. It's fun, it's topicy, it's neat kind of stuff that we can chat about just for the heck of it. And that runs through the weekend. Just because it drops on Thursday, you have all the way until Sunday to keep on voting abound. So, Done with the poll results. Done with the box office. Let's get into the recent reviews, shall we? Let's lead off with Sing 2. What do you say? Not that you guys have an actual vote. Garth Jennings writing and directing again. We're bringing back your main cast. You're bringing back McConaughey. You're bringing back Reese Witherspoon. ScarJo comes back. Taron Egerton again. Nick Kroll. Anyway, so Amazon Prime does this rent at home option that you can do. Movies in the theaters, rent at home thing. And I was scrolling through the other day. I was like, oh, Sing 2's available. $24.99. And this is, we've been doing this for a while now, this rent at home thing. But I think Amazon Prime has really ramped up the films that they're adding into their repertoire. And Sing 2 is available. It just became available there. So I got very excited because I've been the kids have wanted to see it. I've been wanting to get them out. We've been battling, the holidays, battling quarantine, battling all of that encompasses. Once again, disclaimer, hope everyone's being safe and healthy and whatnot. Regardless of your politics, folks, I just hope everyone's being safe. Try and be healthy. Be good to one another. So, done. Sunday night, we are available. We're going to watch as a family Sing 2. And we did. I really enjoyed Sing. I thought it was a great movie. A lot of fun. Great kid movie. Great kid movie where it had adult themes in there. And it didn't give you subtle innuendo jokes like old animated films would do, that only the adults would get this joke, so therefore it would keep the adults interested. No, it actually keeps you interested without having to do your innuendo style of comedy. And so I was excited for this one. We're adding Bobby Cannavale to this. We're adding Bono to this. We're adding Halsey to this. We're adding a bunch of decent cast members to this already loaded cast. The movie's fine. It's good. It's entertaining. We laughed a bunch. We sang along a bunch. I will say this. I am glad we did not see the film in the theaters. And maybe just us being at home just kind of like gave us that, drop the walls, if you will, to now sing along. Because we did, often. Soundtrack, fantastic. Has a loaded amount of music. And a loaded amount of U2 songs. I like U2. I don't hate U2. I know a lot of people are like, hey man, you're super Irish heritage. You must love U2. Greatest Irish rock band of all time. Hey, let me point something out for folks. They are a rock band from Ireland, which is different than Irish rock. Thank you. I just want to put that little disclaimer out there for anyone that confuses the two, because there are better Irish rock bands out there, Carbon Leaf, than U2. U2 is a great rock band from Ireland. Got my drift? I don't not like U2. I know they get political, so people hate them just because of the politics. Meh, I don't care. Their music is fine. Their songs are catchy. At the end of the day, if a U2 song comes on that I know, I'm singing along, singing and dancing. I.e. in Sing 2. There were about 5 solid U2 songs in this movie. I solemnly believe that Bono said, I'll do it as long as you put a lot of our music in there. And the producers were like, fine, we'll throw some U2 in there, and we'll throw Bono in there, and he has a good role in this movie. The song, now I will say this for that. I don't mean that as a detriment, because the placement of said U2 songs go well to where they place into the film. And they didn't just like force feed Streets Have No Name into a section where it had no business being there. It actually fit everywhere they put it in. All the songs that they did, they fit really well. The theme is, the group here led by Buster Moon, he and his group, they got to go now out to Vegas, Red Shore City it's called in this world. And it's the next step. They're taking their talents to the next level and seeing if they can perform even better, even more so, get a big show. And they fall in with Bobby Cannavale's character. He runs the biggest hotel in all of, we'll call it Vegas, Red Shore City. And they're trying, pull one over the eyes by saying they can get this huge rock star who hasn't performed in years to perform in their show. It's a fib. Can they go and get him? Either way, that's the plot of the film. There's some side text to this that actually keeps you entertained throughout. There's some side themes in here that have some heart, that have some depth to it. Some of the characters need to come to grips with their own personal issues in performing, personal issues in life, in loss and grief, and things to that nature. Yeah, in this kids movie. But it's really done well. I enjoyed every bit of it. The wife, the daughter, they enjoyed every bit of it. We started the movie at about 8:30, and my 4-year-old son had been running rampant all day long, and his energy ran out by about 10 after 9, which is fine. He was supposed to be in bed at 7:45 anyway. So he missed the rest. But today, when we talked about it, as I was bringing him to school, he was upset that he missed the end of the movie. He said, can I bring back? I said, yeah, it's like a 24-hour rental. We'll watch it later, buddy. Anywho, I enjoyed Sing 2. It was good. Catchy songs, head bopping the entire time. I truly believe anyone that wants to watch this, do so if you have Prime and you get the whole family in there for only $25 as opposed to going to the theater. Listen, guys, I will champion going to the theater as much as possible. As much as possible, because I don't want theaters to go away. We need to keep the theater industry alive. But math is math, right? Why would you change math? And I saw an opportunity where the entire family could enjoy this film at home for only $25, and it was better than any opportunity we had in this climate of disease and this climate of our schedules getting everybody out to actual theater. There, off my soapbox. Go see Sing 2. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The music in it is great. The performances are great. We need more voiceover work from McConaughey. We truly do. I think he does a fantastic job as Buster Moon. And half the time, I'm just like, it is McConaughey. It isn't McConaughey. Like, there's little subtles McConaughey can't get away from in his voice that he just can't get away from. But for the most part, he gives you a great voice here, Buster Moon. I think he does a really good job. Witherspoon, you can barely tell it's her voice. ScarJo, there's a couple of moments in there where you're like, oh, that's right, it is ScarJo. My daughter is super excited that she knew that it was ScarJo going in, but when she sings, you can't tell that it's, the Black Widow sitting there singing and dancing. Either way, enjoyed Sing 2. Highly recommend. Everyone go check it out. All right, The Tender Bar. Again, not a lot of publicity here. We're talking about movies going forward of films for money. This is straight onto Amazon Prime. I was a big Amazoner this weekend. Here we go. I'm glad to have the Prime. This is Clooney and Affleck getting back together for directing and producing. Clooney winds up directing. He wasn't going to at first, but then they wound up talking him into directing this. Affleck is going to star in this, but then they're both going to produce. When was the last time that Clooney and Affleck produced something together? That's a little film called Argo. Yeah, it won Best Picture. This will not win Best Picture. Sorry to set that bar really high. That tender bar really high on that one. Pun intended there. Wowzers. This is based on the best-selling memoir of J.R. Moehringer. He was a writer for the New York Times, and then he wrote this memoir. Again, to reiterate the sentence, best-selling. They've adapted it. William Monahan adapted the screenplay. This is about a young boy growing up on Long Island, and his father is absent. Father is a radio DJ, and he's never around. So he and his mom move back in with his mother's father, his grandpa. His uncle lives there too, and his uncle kind of becomes his father, the big father figure in his life. He owns a bar around the corner, and this is where his uncle gives him life lessons every day, right? Didn't go to school. I'll teach you about life in a different way. There's a totally different education there. The street education versus the book smart, right? But the kicker is this kid is book smart. So he's going to learn both ends of the spectrum from this poor community, but still that's how you live life. Anyway, Affleck is in this. Ty Sheridan plays the kid as he gets older. I want to shout out the kid. Daniel Ranieri does a good job. I think the key here with this kid's acting performance is they don't give him a ton to do. You don't have to ask a whole lot out of this kid. There's a scene where they talk about how he's not good at sports. We don't really see him not being good at sports. We just assume that because Affleck's character, Uncle Charlie, tells us that. And I think that was smart here. The kid, everything that this kid has to do, all the line deliveries that he has, great job. Well done. And you could kind of tell it's like, we're just going to keep it right in this lane. Not that they didn't have faith in the kid, but I think the amount that they gave this child actor to do was perfect. Let the kid learn. Let him get on set. Let him get his feet wet. We'll see what he does next. I have yet to mention Lily Rabe is in this, but even more so, Christopher Lloyd plays the grandpa, and he does a great job. For the majority of the film, he's just like in the background, but then he has a couple of the scenes where he needs to step up, and he reminds you that he's Christopher Lloyd, and he's a national treasure that should be treasured for the entire nation. That was a dumb sentence. Ty Sheridan plays the older. He's fine. Ty Sheridan's fine. He does a good job playing this kid as he's a little bit older. Majority of the first half of the movie, so first act leading into the second act, is about the kid growing up. I enjoyed that far more than I did once he's grown up and becomes Ty Sheridan. Now he goes off to school. Does he get accepted to the school he wants? I won't spoil that for you. And then what does he do going forward? Now, this is based on J.R. Moehringer, who writes for the New York Times and is a famous writer. So therefore, he probably went to the prestigious school that he wanted to go to. Just not going to spoil that. Either way, I like the first half better than the second half. Second half is about him finding his way as his young 20s. He falls in love with a girl. There's a situation there with the girl. Does she love him back? Yes, no, maybe so. And that's kind of then the movie going forward. An underlying element of the entire movie, though, is not having his dad around. He's got this crap bag of a father, shows up for 5 minutes, maybe pays child support. There's a scene where his dad shows up, picks him up, and does 3 laps around the neighborhood, and then drops him off. All right, son, see you next week. Like, wowzers. There are some scenes in here where you may question like, man, I feel I'm a better father to my children already just by watching this, but let me reflect on how good of a dad I am. I need to make sure that I really am, putting forth the effort so that my son recognizes that I'm being a good dad to him and learning him up some good things. Okay, to Affleck, to the highlight of this film. Ben Affleck, man. Ben Affleck. I don't know if it's when he and Clooney get together that Affleck just like goes to a new level. I don't know if when he and Clooney work together that it brings it out of Affleck, or maybe Clooney reminds him like, hey, Ben, forget like the cheesy things you did and we all like looked down upon you for that. Remember for a while there we'd all looked down and giggled at Affleck, and he has now come back into our hearts of, between Batman and between the way back and things like, and Argo, whatnot. Whatever that is, it works. Affleck's fantastic in this. Like, really fantastic. I really appreciate his performance in this. We're going to talk about that performance a little later on when we talk about the Golden Globes. He's really good. Do not be surprised to see a Best Supporting Actor nom out of Affleck when in February 2nd, when the Oscars are announced. February 2nd? Whatever. Second week of February, when we get there. He's really good. And it's just a very understated, halfway through, you're just like, son of a beach, man. Affleck can act. And it's a bummer that sometimes we get this thought in our head of a certain person because of their off-the-field performance, right? And you had that whole persona with Affleck. And then he comes back around and reminds you, oh, by the way, he is a phenomenal actor. Not a national treasure like Christopher Lloyd, but still a great actor, and he gives a fantastic performance. He steals this movie away with his performance and his supporting role. Also, I hate you, Ben Affleck, for your hair. Just the entire movie. Just this long, flowing locks. I want to punch him in the nose because he has these beautiful hair. Also, you Bostoner with your New York accent. Well done. Good job. Going from your Boston to your Long Island. Not bad. I enjoyed this film a lot. I'll be honest. The first hour, great. I'm hooked. When we get into him being a little bit older, kind of loses me. You want to see how the story plays out. There are some good moments with him and the dad later on in the movie. It's only $140. It's not like this is a lengthy film. I will say the only time that it does drag is the third act. The third act is kind of like, okay, cool. This isn't the story that I really cared about. I liked the Affleck being the dad figure to him earlier on. So I recommend this. I say invest in the time into it. It's on Amazon Prime. If you have the Prime, you can watch it for free. You won't be disappointed. And another directorial win for Clooney and another acting performance win for Affleck. There we go. Tender Bar, Sing 2, both very, very positive reviews. We're going to be moving on now, done with the review section, and on to our casting couch. I'm going to take a little swig of the water here, folks. Today, as I'm recording, is known as Black Monday. Black Monday in the NFL, for you sports fans, is when a lot of folks get fired. And I, as a lot of you listeners know, I'm a big New York Football Giants fan. Yes, I'm admitting that out loud. I have been for 40 years. It's not going away. We've had good times, we've had bad, and boy, are they bad right now. Either way, everyone's checking their Twitter feeds and refreshing to see if their coaches are going to get fired. Just came across the wire. My coach not getting fired. But you know who is involved in the New York Football Giants? Rooney Mara. Wow, see how I came all the way around. Circled that all the way around because her family owns the Giants. Somehow I got sports in there just by mentioning Rooney Mara. Anywho, she has been cast to play Audrey Hepburn in an Audrey Hepburn biopic. I know there's a backlash out there because there's other actresses that look like Audrey Hepburn as opposed to Rooney Mara looking like Audrey Hepburn. But I will take Rooney Mara's acting abilities over 90% of actresses that might look like Audrey Hepburn any day of the week, because I think she's low-key one of the better actresses we have in Hollywood right now. I'm all on board. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, because her family owns the Giants and I love the New York Football Giants. Good for you, Rooney Mara. Can't wait to see you as Audrey Hepburn. Next up, Cynthia Erivo. No connection to the New York Football Giants at all, but she is a phenomenal actress as well. Have you guys heard her sing? She has an album out. I heard that she was on the Graham Norton show and they played some of her songs. She can sing, she can dance. You name it, this lady can do it. It was really good. I didn't add it to my Spotify, but maybe I will. Netflix movie called Blink Speed. This is a sci-fi film and she's been booked to play the lead there. True Love. Gareth Edwards has written and directed this movie. It has John David Washington, Allison Janney, Gemma Chan, Benedict Wong. Sign me up. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. This is a Ronald Dahl adaptation by Wes Anderson. Hello. Benedict Cumberbatch, Ralph Fiennes, Dev Patel, and Ben Kingsley all attached to that. Sign me up. I'm very intrigued to see Wes Anderson adapt a Ronald Dahl book. For some reason, that sentence seems to fit. Like, oh, I'm intrigued to see that. I'm not familiar with that book, though. Henry Sugar's Ronald Dahl book. Maybe we shall read it. Let's start a book club. So, Craig. All right, Apartment 7A. We've talked about this in the past. This is John Krasinski, Michael Bayer producing this film. They finally got their psychological thriller lead, and it's going to be one Miss Julia Garner, which is good because her show, we're going to talk about a little bit later on, Ozark Season 4, final season there. What is she going to do next? Now we know. White Lotus Season 2 has added someone to their cast, and is a Mr. Michael Imperioli. Hello, from Sopranos fame. Hopefully he just doesn't get in a car crash while he's driving and someone just pinches his nose. Pour one out. Lastly, Renfield. We have mentioned this in the past. This is Chris McKay is directing this. Has I almost said Adam Cage. That's not right. Nicolas Cage. What are we doing here? And Nicholas Hoult, back-to-back Nicks, and Ben Schwartz, and they've added Adrian Martinez to this one. That's Renfield. Chris McKay is directing that one. We are done with the casting couch. I don't want to do this. I don't want to because the news is next, and in the news is the RIP section. If we just don't go to the news, can we ignore the RIP? It's not how it works. Hollywood news. Okay, first up, the one that doesn't hurt as badly because he was 94 years old, two-time nomination, one-time winner for the Oscars, and then received an honorary Oscar later on in life is Mr. Sidney Poitier. Folks, you know, he did a lot of work way back when we were young. And the one thing I always think when I hear the name Sidney Poitier is class. Like, I almost feel like in the dictionary they should replace the name class with Poitier. Like, it just sounds like class. And this guy was well respected in all of Hollywood. He was a phenomenal actor. You know, he was a groundbreaking guy, broke some barriers along the way, and well deserved. One of the best actors of all time. I'm sure many of folks have him high on that list. And he passed away, 94 years old. R.I.P. Mr. Poitier. And then just across the wire late last night, the heartbreaking news, not that Sidney's death isn't, but because he was only 65 years old, is Mr. Bob Saget. That stings. Stings because of an early death. You know, sadly, one of my initial thoughts was the way he kind of lived his life. It might make sense a little bit. You know, something probably went awry. At this moment, I don't have the details. He was found dead in his hotel room. That usually doesn't equal a peaceful death when someone's found dead in their hotel room. But the entire world is coming out. The entire Full House world is coming out, sending out their heartbreaking messages at the loss of Bob Saget. Major loss. And again, this goes just to my generation. I'm 40 years old. I live and breathe Full House. Loved it. There's a while there where, I didn't want to hang out with friends on a Friday night because TGIF was on, and TGIF was because of Full House. Full House started it. We did specialty episodes on the show back when we had a Patreon just on TGIF alone, and it was Full House. Full House made TGIF. They even then, it was there for 5 seasons, and they kicked it over to Tuesday nights because it was such a great show. And Bob Saget was the man. He was that dad energy. And I know there were other dads before him, other TV dads out there pre-Bob Saget, but for my generation, he was the man. I mean, he was the man that taught you how to hug, and that hugging was okay. And because we had to end every episode with a hug. And then I think the thing about Saget that was like mind-blowing for folks was he had that persona of Danny Tanner, and he was acting. Because then people got to know the real him when he would do his comedy bits, and he was a raunchy mother effer. And people were like, what? Danny Tanner says these bad words? No, Bob Saget saying that because he was doing a great job acting on Full House. And I think a lot more credit needed to be given to Saget for acting as much as he did to give you that persona that everyone just owned onto. And I think that also a credit and a testament to how amazing of a job he did as Danny Tanner is that that's all we saw him as, and we meant that positively. He did voiceover work down at How I Met Your Mother, and he did a lot more other stuff. But he owned that role, and then he owned it going on later on in life. They had Fuller House, and he came back with that, and he would, him and Stamos and Coulier, just forever. They knew their pop culture niche, and they had it, and it is just sad. Sad to see Bob Saget go. Okay, a positive thing out of the RIP, there is a Betty White challenge. We mentioned her passing last week, another sad one. There is the Betty White challenge, and that is for everyone on January 17th, which is coming up next week, to donate $5 to your local animal shelter. Find any local animal place and donate $5 in Betty White's name. She was very big into that. And they're just putting out the challenge for everyone. Just anonymously throw out there. Just go donate $5. You can donate more if you wish, in Betty White's name, and that is the Betty White challenge. Of all these challenges we have out there, folks, there's some goofy dance ones and walking on milk crates, which are people breaking their backs. Fun to watch, but at least this one is meant in a positive way, i.e. like the ice bucket one, at least we're doing this to raise awareness. This one's actually raising awareness and money towards your animal shelter. So I'm all about that, and TTP will be participating with giving my $5 to an animal shelter. All right, done with the RIP. Take a second to reflect on those folks and on to the actual Hollywood news. Here we go. Word on the street is that Invincible Season 2 is underway, so look forward to shortly finding out a little more things on release dates for Season 2. That shouldn't be too far down the road, probably towards the end of 2022. Some more delays on stage. Mrs. Doubtfire. This is actually good news. There are a lot of shutdowns over Christmas break, over the holiday break, what have you, of a lot of Broadway, and Doubtfire was one of them, but Doubtfire officially announced that they're coming back in March. They're just delayed. They're not completely shut down. So that's kind of good news, because they're not. There are a couple of shows like Waitress, a couple others that are just done. We're like, we're going to shut down. This is the end of our run anyway. We're out. We're not coming back, which is a bummer for those shows. Other television shutdowns right now, ABC is completely closed. Grey's Anatomy, Station 19, General Hospital, not GH. They're all closed right now. They're all shutting down. So those are just going to be delays. They're going to have to film that stuff later on. Ozark. We got a trailer for Ozark, and January 21st, right around the corner. Final season of Ozark. Big fan. Once that's all said and done, I will have a review of that and kind of a series, and then season 4 wrap recap, because that was a great show. Absolutely love that show. That's a show that surprised me with season 3. I thought it could have wrapped after season 2. I was very curious where we were going. It had a great season 3. Now it's set the bar high, because now I'm like, holy crap, season 4 has got to be great. They did one of my favorite things. Something that I enjoy when a TV writers know ahead of time, this is going to be our final season. And I think they may have even known going into season 3 they were getting 2 more out of it, which means they knew ahead of time how we want to wrap. And that usually equals good things. Looking forward to Ozark. That's dropping January 21st. We also got a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air trailer. Oh boy, does this not look anything like what we grew up on. But I think it looks good. I think it looks very drama-filled. Very drama-filled. You know, he's in LA different because he got a run-in with the law, got into it with the cops in Philly, so they kicked him out and they said, hey, come on out to LA. We'll just tell people that you're here for your studies when really you got in trouble with the law. Uncle Phil is this badass dude. He's not chubby. Carlton is like the BMOC. And now he's feeling a little threatened by Will, but not because he's a dork, because everyone loves Carlton. I mean, also, the Amvivs keep getting hotter and hotter, But either way, this is a totally different show. And I like that Will Smith is EPing on this, because he'll be signing off on it. But this is not the Fresh Prince that, we're not tossing jazz out of the front door. This is drama-filled. Go to our Facebook and Twitter, and you'll see the trailer if you so desire. And let me know if you're interested in watching this version of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Boys gave us all of their release dates. June 3rd on Amazon, we will be getting The Boys. 3 episodes on June 3rd. And then it's an 8-ep season, so 5 weeks later we will get July 8th will be the finale for The Boys. Looking forward to that. Season 2 is fine. Looking forward to see where they go with Season 3. And could this be the final season? They're already talking about spin-offs and all that kind of thing, so maybe this is going to wrap things up. I don't know. There hasn't been any word of that, and it's a very, very popular show, so I highly doubt that. I have a feeling we'll get a Season 4. But 8 episodes, The Boys starts June 3rd on Amazon Prime. There's a rumor right now that they're going to redo The Honeymooners. Any big Honeymooner fans out there? This is going to be female-led Honeymooners, although also involving Damon Wayans in that project. Any more news drops on that, I'll let you kids know. If anybody's a big Honeymooner fan, let me know. 667-365-8253, or of course you can find us across all socials. And lastly, Emily in Paris. I know there's some big Emily in Paris fans out there. Season 3 and 4 have been approved. There you go. All right, wrapping up the news, we're going to plow through. I'm going to absolutely try and plow through the Golden Globes winners. Just some rapid reactions. Again, folks, check the timestamps. If you don't give a darn about the Golden Globe winners, this will only take about 5-6 minutes, and just go on to the next spot, which will be the DC discussion. As always, usually I throw out the timestamps so that everyone knows where they can jump around back and forth in case we're doing spoilers and what have you. Either way. All right, Golden Globes, no ceremony, not broadcast. We knew last year after the backlash that Hollywood Foreign Press was getting for the lack of diversity in their voting membership that they weren't going to be supported. And as insane as that whole scenario was, right? And absolutely right. All the people that are saying you need better diversity here, they're absolutely right. Then NBC jumps in and says, we're not even going to broadcast the show. You need to fix it. Because they were given 2 years. This happened 2 years ago. They said, you need to fix it. And then they hired like 2 people of color to be in their voting process. But then everybody else was like, no, I'm not giving up my seat. So nothing really changed. The Globes were very poo-pooed this year. I mean, I saw their Twitter. Their Twitter tried to make it as exciting as they could, but that's it. And I think even people were, poo-pooing their Twitter because at one point they put out, if you need something to make you laugh, West Side Story is your winner. And the next tweet was like, if you need something musical, West Side Story is your winner. Spoiler alert. And I was like, wait a second, you just said laugh and music because it's in the music and comedy section? And I'm pretty sure I watched West Side Story and did not laugh a ton, as great as that film is. Anybody interested in my top 10 plus 1 films of the year, just go back 1 episode or check our socials. Also, top 10 plus 1 TV shows of 2021 are on there. All right, here we go. Golden Globes. We're going to plow through these guys because I don't want to give a lot of love to the Golden Globes. This was a show that was, it was little brother to all the other award shows. And there are other award shows out there that were fighting for better shot. Critics' Choice Awards, Spirit Awards, a lot of other shows that people felt, you know what, the Globes are prestigious. They've been around for so long, and a lot of people love this night because it's usually a lot more fun because there's a lot of drinking involved and what have you. But I want a more quality award show in its place anyway, and that's going back 4 or 5 years before the stuff with the Hollywood Foreign Press came out. So that's why when this all went away, I was kind of like, all right, Globes are gone. Let's put something in its place. Unfortunately, COVID is still a thing, and we haven't put anything in its place. Hopefully by 2023 we will. Best Motion Picture Drama, Power of the Dog wins, beats out Belfast, beats out Coda, beats out King Richard. Is that a precursor? Maybe. I hope not. We'll talk about this when we get into award season stuff. Because, Power of the Dog is a fine film, but it's not my favorite movie of the year. It didn't even make my top 10 plus 1. It's just not a movie I want to see winning Best Picture of the year. Either way, it wins here for drama. Comedy or musical, West Side Story is your winner. It does beat out Cyrano. It does beat out Tick, Tick, Boom, Licorice Pizza, and Don't Look Up. So, that's a big win for West Side Story going forward. Best Director, Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. 2 big wins for them there. Screenplay does go to Belfast, does go to Kenneth Branagh. He is the winner there for Screenplay. Non-English languages where I was like, Titane, why weren't you in there? But Drive My Car is your winner here. Circle that going forward. With Titane not being around, that's just my personal choice. Word on the street is that Drive My Car will be. Best Animated goes to Encanto. That is a surprise to some because there are people that feel that Flea should be nominated just for Best Picture, not just animated, but also Best Picture. So Encanto defeats it here for the Globes. Actress in a drama, Kidman wins for being the Ricardos. Over Chastain and Tammy Faye, over Gaga and Gucci, but mainly over Kristen Stewart in Spencer. That's kind of the big win there for Kidman. Actor in a drama goes to Will Smith for King Richard. Good job, Will. Defeating Cumberbatch, that's a big deal because Cumberbatch right now is a favorite with Power of the Dog going forward. Actress in musical or comedy goes to Rachel Ziegler. Good for this lady, first ever time on the big screen, and she wins a Golden Globe. She does beat out Cotillard. She beats out Alana Haim, J-Law, Jennifer Lawrence, and then Emma Stone. All right, actor in comedy or musical, that goes to Andrew Garfield, Tick, Tick, Boom. He's the heavy favorite there. There's no surprise on that one. Supporting actress in motion picture, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. Well done. Supporting actor, Cody Smith-McPhee for Power of the Dog. A little upset action there. I'm wondering if the Belfast guys canceled each other out. Ben Affleck loses here. I have mentioned earlier that his performance is fantastic and he got this nomination for the Globe. I would love to see him get a nomination going forward. I'm just circling back to my review of Tender Bar. I think more people need to see this movie, and once more people actually do see this movie, you might agree with me. But good for you, Cody Smith-McPhee. Well done. All right, score goes to Dune. Original song, No Time to Die for Billie Eilish. Good for them. All right, on to the television side of things. Television drama goes to Succession. A lot of folks were thinking Squid Game was going to sneak in there, but they were wrong, as they should have been, because Succession is fantastic. TV series, comedy, musical goes to Hacks. Limited series goes to Underground Railroad. Mayor of Easttown won the Emmy for limited series. I'm wondering if it lost votes because the rumor is right now, we've talked about it on the show, that Mayor of Easttown is going to get a season 2. That no longer makes it a limited series. So maybe some people are like, F you, Mayor of Easttown. If you're going to give me a season 2, then come back as a regular, series, and then we'll give you for that. Go up against Succession. Either way, not to take away from Underground Railroad, which wins there. Actress in a drama goes to Michaela Jai Rodriguez for Pose. Actor in a TV drama, Jeremy Strong, Succession. Woohoo! Actress in a comedy or musical, Jean Smart, Hacks. Again, big winner there. She's doing fantastic there. Actor in a TV series or drama, this little TV show I think I might have mentioned once or twice on here, Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso. Oh yeah, baby, #1 show of 2021. Spoiler alert if you were going to rewind to last week's episode and hear my top 10 plus 1. Actress in limited series, this goes against what I was just saying about the voters taken away because it goes to Kate Winslet for Mare of Easttown. I really wish Elizabeth Olsen for WandaVision had won there. Or Chastain for Scenes of Marriage. I'm still mad at Jessica Chastain after watching that show Scenes from a Marriage, even though it wasn't actually Jessica Chastain. That's how good of a performance she was giving us. Okay, moving along. Winslet, congrats on your winning there. Actor in a limited series goes to Keaton for Dopesick. Talked about that back when I was watching Dopesick. He does a great job there. Actress in TV series, Sarah Snook for Succession. Good honor. Well done. She does beat out Caitlin Dever, who I was hoping would win that, or Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso. Both of them I enjoy. But either way, good job for Snook. Supporting actor TV series, Squid Game, Oh Young-soo. There you go, folks. There are your Golden Globes winners and, well, obviously the losers, but there are the winners for everyone to enjoy. I don't know. Globes are the Globes. Will we even talk about the Golden Globes next year? Probably not. All right, I tried to motor through those as fast as I could, just because for posterity's sake, we have always talked about the Globes on the show. It'll be intriguing if we do going forward. You know what? Next year, maybe we'll do the Spirit Awards. SAG Awards. I'd rather do those. I'd rather sit here and talk about the BAFTAs. Maybe at one point just do an entire award season spin-off episode, if you will. Oh my gosh, we have a spin-off episode coming this week. Stick around for going forward if you want to find out what that is. But for right now, DC discussion. Gal Gadot is in The Flash. Last week I was chatting about how they made that release about how there's no more Batman, there's no more Superman, they're moving on. Supergirl is going to be the Superman going forward, and Michael Keaton is going to dub Batgirl as the Batman going forward. And we're not going to have Batman, we're not going to have Superman in the DCEU going forward. But the one name we hadn't heard about being in The Flash is like, all right, so you've gotten rid of the Trinity. You've gotten rid of Zack Snyder's his Trinity of Affleck and Cavill and Gadot. But we're not talking about Gadot. That's wrong. They did come out and say, oh, for all of you guys questioning it, Gal Gadot is in The Flash. So it's just more weird from WB what they're doing here. I mean, it's just disappointing that they might not be handling these properties properly. And that you have some Snyderverse people here, you don't have other ones. You have great, like Affleck and Cavill are phenomenal in their roles. Why would you not keep going with them? To that point, Affleck was asked about this. They're like, all right, so you're in The Flash. What do we have next? And he said, folks, I'm done. I will tell you right now, I'm done playing Batman. It is over. I have talked to the studio. I'm out. I'm not doing it. Is he just trying to kind of play the game a little bit? Is this Andrew Garfield screaming from the rooftops, I'm not in Spider-Man No Way Home type thing? Maybe. Doubt it. The way he said it, he was just like, I'm out. That was my final performance as Batman, and I'm all done. That's a major bummer, because I really liked Affleck as Batman and Bruce Wayne. Lastly, there's a rumor out there that, a lot of folks hate Zack Snyder. A lot of people in the business don't give a lot of validity to Snyder or like his product. And some people are out there saying maybe it's because he's too nice. And they're like, what? Is that a thing? Apparently. He's so nice and kind to everyone in the industry that he doesn't have that cutthroat, go for the jugular, I need my movie made, X, Y, and Z. And that's why the studios kind of walked all over him. And they walked all over him with getting rid of him. And then they threw him a bone with letting the Snyder Cut thing because enough people were like, well, he's such a nice guy. And look at the tragedy that happened. Let him make the end of his movie. And then we'll just be done with the guy. Because he's not vindictive and that Hollywood style of whatever, of business. And that's baloney. I mean, it's sad that we live in a world where, yeah, that sounds right. That could be a thing. Where he's not mean enough so he can't survive in this business. Well, that sucks if that's the business that we sit here and watch and enjoy on a day-to-day basis, especially because his thoughts towards what he wanted to do with these characters were great. That's it for the DC discussion. I will wrap up that with be kind to everybody, even if it screws you out of making a movie. Sorry. And we're going to move on to the Marvel Minute. For those of you out there that like the show S.H.I.E.L.D., that is on the old TVs there. It is done, but there's a push out there to keep it going. There's one of those fan petitions out there if you want to see more seasons of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Rock and Roll, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., excuse me, not the S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the S.H.I.E.L.D., Michael Chiklis. Great show. One of the best first eps of a show of all time. The way that first episode ended to hook you to watch the rest of it, and then all the seasons were great after that. But either way, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's a major push out there right now to keep Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going. Morbius has been pushed. I probably should have led with this. Morbius has been pushed to April. It was supposed to come out January 28th, and now they're saying, nope, we're going to push that back to April. Now, why? Why are they pushing Morbius? One, no money is made in January, right? We talked about this in the box office for a while. B, Spider-Man's making a ton of cash. So if you put Morbius out, that's going to take away from Spider-Man's cash. And there's records that Spider-Man is trying to break right now, No Way Home, that will be deterred from if you now put out another superhero project that people are going to want to see. I'm not in love with Morbius, but I want to see this film. It's going to give me the next step in where we're going with these storylines, right? I need to see that. Keaton's supposed to be in it. How does it connect to Tom Hardy? How does it connect to Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Do they? In any capacity. So therefore, since everyone wants to go see that, it's going to take away from Spider-Man's cash. C, COVID. Bottom line, we still have it. It's still a thing. Omicron's kicking everybody's butt right now. So maybe we're not going to put this movie in theaters because we'll make more money in April. That's simple math. Add them all together, they chose Morbius is now coming out in April. Does it get in anybody's way? No. Does it get in Doctor Strange's way? No. Does it mess up any of the things that Marvel's putting on Disney Plus? No. So they just said we're going to push it to April. It probably is the smartest decision. Kind of a bummer because that last trailer has me in all Morbius. I'm ready to see it. I want to see it. But I understand why. Last thing I'm going to ask, this was a big debate out on the Twitters. It was put out there. Oh, you know what? Spoiler for Spider-Man No Way Home at this point. If you are one of the few who haven't seen it, fast forward to the going forward section because the rest of this Marvel chat will be spoiler filled. So spoiler, if you need to fast forward to the going forward section, it's only going to be like a minute from now. I'm just curious everyone's take on this. It was put out there, the scene in which Garfield and Maguire and Holland all decide to work together and they dive off the Statue of Liberty and they swing and then they shoot their webs together for a 3 thing and then they swing again and then boom, 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 land on the Statue of Liberty. It was put out there that this was the best scene, the best moment in the MCU of all time. And I quickly pushed back on that, and I noticed there are others that quickly pushed back on that, saying, no. Captain America catching Thor's hammer is the best scene in the MCU of all time. The Spider-Man scene, solid. It was great. It was fun to see those 3 fly through the air. It was fun to see those 3 now decide to work together and now land. But when Cap caught that hammer, I mean, the chips were down. We'd already lost. Everyone had already lost. And they're getting their butts kicked again. And there are some things that were unknown that were built up over 10 years of span. Like, how worthy is Cap? How tough is Cap? Whatever. And then when he catches Thor's hammer, that's like holy S moment, right? I mean, audiences stood up and cheered. Me, guilty. My daughter still gives me a hard time for it. Stood up and just screamed at the theater, at the screen, because he catches it. And then he kicks Thanos' ass with that. Oop, potty word, sorry. When the Spider-Men do their thing, the 3 Spider-Men do their thing, that's awesome. It was great. It was a great looking scene. It was fantastic, right? But I don't think that was as momentous as like, yes, here we go. Now they're going to kick some butt. Because if you recall in the film, they're not going to then kick some butt at that time. They're going to cure some ass at that time. So it wasn't as like momentous as like, all right, now they're going to work together. I loved every bit of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not poo-pooing one. I'm just putting one above the other in how amazing they both were. So at Take Two Podcasts is our Twitter, take2podcast@gmail.com or 667-365-8253. What was the better scene? The 3 Spider-Man landing on the Statue of Liberty together, or Captain America catching Thor's hammer? You already have my vote. It's for Captain America. Allow me to hear yours. I already did hear one on there, and Bo, I know you're going to comment again, and I don't mind it. Bring it on, baby. That is going to wrap up the Marvel Minute, which means it's wrapping up our show. It is time to go forward. All right, one challenger this weekend in the theater that is going to go up against Spider-Man, and that is Scream. How much money is Scream? We'll call it Scream 5. It's just Scream 22. I kind of like the Scream 22. You know, it's kind of like giving the old ones like that Batman 89 designation. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the route we can go here. I will tell you, I already have my tickets ready to go. Saturday night, late night Saturday night. Look on our socials. You'll see me in the theater getting ready to see Scream. The previous Screams made $32 million. 4 and 3 made in the 30 range for their opening weekend box office. I believe 4 made $34 million. I think 3 made $38 million. Don't quote me. But either way, they're in the 30 range. As you know, Spider-Man No Way Home just made $33 million last weekend. Who's going to win this weekend? Will it be Ghostface or will it be Spider-Man? I'm going Scream. I'm going to take Scream. I'm going to take Scream to finally dethrone Spider-Man, knock him down to second place. And, Scream's going to come in. I'll tell you why. The reviews so far for Scream are fantastic. Like, fantastic. They're coming in with some hot... Like, I was really worried because I love this franchise. I'll tell you more about it in a second. And I was worried, like, oh, crap. Don't goof it up. Don't mess it up. And from everything I've read and heard so far, my hype is really high. Really high. So, tickets are in hand. I will be seeing that. It will be the main review for next week on our show. Also, onto Apple, you have The Legend of Macbeth. That is dropping. We have some nominations out of that. We're going to be hearing more about that in award season time, which we are in the middle of right now. So I will be watching that. It is releasing to Apple. If you have Prime and you want to watch Hotel Transylvania, the transportation, something about trans. Something tranny is happening in Hotel Transylvania. I forget the last word there. Either way, that one drops to Prime. Netflix, they have The House, which is an anime thing or like a stop animation type thing with mice. Helena Bonham Carter is in that. And then you have Brazen, which has Alyssa Milano. First crush ever in my life was Samantha Micelli. Alyssa Milano is now in a new movie. We'll see if we get around to that on the old Netflix world. She was the first crush. Samantha Micelli, who's the boss, was first celebrity crush. But she was quickly defeated by Kelly Kapowski. And honestly, Kelly Kapowski never lost. She's not lost to this day. My wife knows it. She gives me a hard time for it. She still is winning. There have been other, customers along, but no, as far as celebrity crushes, nothing will ever be that. But Alyssa Milano, you were number one with that, with Samantha Micelli. Okay. Also, as you're listening to this tonight on the CW, Superman and Lois Season 2 comes back. So you might be listening to this and it's already dropped. So Season 2 drops, and then once that season's all... it's not going to be done until May. We'll talk about it. But if anything crazy happens along the way, I'll throw that out there onto the show to let you guys know you should or should not be watching. And then later on this week, Disney Plus, if any of you guys haven't seen Eternals yet, that comes out this week on Disney Plus. So there you go. You didn't have to spend your money like I did at the theater. You just watch it on your on the old screen at home. I do recommend, folks, if you are going to watch Eternals at home versus your telephone, do it on your screen at home. Do it on your 65, 72, 53 inch as opposed to your 8 inch. It's the one time that 8 inches won't be enough. Thank you. That's it. That's the end of the show. I should just end it on that one. You're welcome. Screamcast later on this week. Guys, I'm a huge Scream fan. As far as horror movies go, I like the slasher side of scary movies. And I love Scream. I love the series of Scream. And because we have 4 movies in the Scream series, later on this week, you will be getting a bonus episode on Take Two Podcast, fully devoted to Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then it's going to lead you right into next week's review of Scream 5. We'll be breaking down cast. We'll be breaking down box office. We'll be breaking down each film. If you have not seen the Scream movies, don't listen to that episode. If you have, I highly encourage it. Or you have a couple of days before it drops, go watch 1 through 4. I rewatched all of them leading into this just for fun, and I'm very excited so that you guys can hear my breakdown of Scream series as we go in. I will touch on the TV show, but I'll be honest, I only watched season 1 of the TV show, not the other one, so there's only so much I can say there. Either way, later on this week, you're getting a bonus week on Take Two Podcasts, all Scream related for episode 274. Have a great night, everybody.